Hey baddies, welcome back to the Baddest You podcast, where every listen takes you to the baddest version of yourself. I am your baddie mindset coach, Ambria, and in today's episode, I am teaching you how I healed my inner child and how you can heal yours too. Make sure you check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Ambria. Follow the Baddest You on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, and let's get into this week's episode. So healing your inner child is so important. It's literally life or death because it dictates whether you get the life that you want or not. When people have unhealed inner childs, it affects their relationships, it affects their money, it affects their lifestyle, all of the above. When somebody has a perspective of being a victim because they didn't heal their inner child, it keeps them in a state of being stuck, right? It keeps them feeling powerless in their life. They tolerate relationships that they don't deserve. They're sitting in circumstances, situations that have nothing to do with them. They have no money and so on. And this is because when you have a wounded inner child, it makes you feel like you lack power. It makes you feel like a byproduct of life, like you have no real way to create change in your life. But that is not the case. When somebody actually has the courage to heal their inner child and start telling themselves a new story about themselves, I am empowered. I'm the one to impress. I can have whatever I want out of life. I am powerful. These mindsets will make this person completely transform their life, and I'm going to teach you guys how to do that today. So the first step when it comes to healing your inner child is seeing your emotions as indicators, seeing your triggers as indicators. I used to be a person that was very triggered growing up, and so many people are the same exact way, right? Something happens when you're a child, and later on in life, something can trigger you into going back to that same space when you were a child where you felt not loved, or you felt like you couldn't be safe, or you felt like you didn't have power in those moments. But the thing about starting to realize that your triggers are actually indicators is that you start to become more self-empowered by slowing down and realizing you have a choice in how you see things and how you can choose to respond to things. Giving yourself permission to slow down and analyze your triggers can actually tell you so much about yourself, what you believe about yourself, what you believe about your experiences, the power you think you have, what you think is available for you or not. When I started to actually slow down, baddies, and I stopped reacting so much to everything around me, I stopped going to a place of being a victim. Being a victim is the worst thing you can be in this life. It's the worst thing you can be because it prevents you from moving forward as a person who has control in a situation. Being a victim is such an illusion. You are not a victim, and I'm talking specifically mentally. The truth of the matter is this, baddies. You have the power at all times to create whatever it is that you want. You can use what you have to create what you want. You can use the current reality and create something completely new. But every single thing starts with the mind. Your mind controls your feelings, controls your actions. When you stop being so reactive to things and actually start stepping into your power, you have way more ability to get what you want. And here's an example. Let's say somebody's talking about you, unhealed you, that is still feeling the need to prove themselves to people, doesn't feel worthy of being respected. You're going to lower yourself and have this person's opinion on a pedestal. You're going to say, hey, oh my gosh, this person thinks this. How can I change myself to fit what they want for me? You will limit yourself to what this person thinks of you, and you will not get what you want. And most importantly, you will not live an authentic, empowered life that you need to live in order to get the life that you deserve. But the healed version of you, let's say someone's talking about you, they know what they want. You know that you are the one to impress. You understand that you are the prize. You understand that other people's inadequacies have nothing to do with you. You understand that they're simply projecting and that hurt people, and people that love themselves want to uplift others. So when you start to heal your inner child, you'll have mental boundaries instead. You'll start to say, I don't allow myself to think that I'm not the best thing to ever hit this planet. I don't allow myself to focus on what other people think of me. And I definitely will not allow myself to feel less than because of a person who's purposely trying to disempower me. So be intentional, baddie. Start seeing it, okay? Next time you're in a circumstance or a situation, slow down and start saying, okay, why is this triggering me? Yes, this person did this, but I'm still in power. I always have the most control. So what can I do to empower myself in this moment so I can move forward accordingly, stay focused, and get the life that I deserve? So the second step when it comes to healing your inner child, baddies, is reshaping your inner story. What do you believe about yourself? Do you believe you're a person that can never have money? Do you believe you're a person that can't easily just get the love they want? You'll always be cheated on. You'll always deal with people who won't value you. Do you believe that you're unattractive? Do you believe that because your father or your mother didn't choose you, that you are not worthy of being chosen in this lifetime? Be intentional and start to understand what you actually think about yourself and give yourself permission to start stepping into a new inner narrative. Just because it happened doesn't mean it's true, especially because when we're a child, we try our best to make sense of the experiences that we are in. We lack a lot of control in our lives at the time, especially financially, or especially with the lack of emotional intelligence and awareness. And if you resonate with that, you pretty much found yourself living in survival mode in order to keep yourself safe, people pleasing, stressing about money all the time, overworking yourself, giving to people in order to have value, and so on. But when you start to understand that anybody else who was in the same exact position you were in, led the exact same life, would act the exact same way and have the exact same beliefs, you start to understand that everything is simply programming, baddies. Your mindset, why you believe what you believe about yourself, it's programming. Beliefs come from repetition. Beliefs come from consistently seeing proof about something. And when our brain holds a belief, it will continue to seek out more proof of what it believes to keep it safe. So it's not true that you're not a person that can't have money, right, baddies? And it's not true that you're a person that can't get the love they want. These things are not true. What is true is that you have the power to create what you want at any point in time. So right now, start thinking about it. What do you believe about yourself? And start consistently affirming the opposite until you see it as a new belief. One of my favorite ways to change my inner beliefs are listening to affirmations in my sleep. Your brain is most receptive to programming. Your subconscious mind, which holds your belief, is most receptive to programming during that time. And being consistent every single night and listening to money affirmations or love affirmations or self-confidence affirmations, your brain will start having new beliefs and seeking out more experiences to prove those beliefs. So no, you're not a byproduct of life. You are just simply living a life that you believe you deserve, and you're having experiences that you believe you are worthy of. So reshape that inner story, take your power back, and start believing in a better and newer you. Number 3, baddies, right? Once you start understanding, like, okay, I'm always in my power. My new belief is that I'm always in my power. The next step is to actually affirm new beliefs. It's not only about just going through life and remembering, okay, you're right, like, I'm a new person now, and I have this new narrative, and that's not true about me. It's literally about replacing your old belief with a new belief. That is the number one way that's gonna help you to start thinking something new about yourself. I want you guys to do an exercise if you can. I like to call it fear to empowerment exercise. And I want you to write out a fear, right? Write out a fear that you genuinely believe about something. So right when I was gonna make my TikTok a couple years ago, now I'm at over 100K, I started to get really anxious. So I wrote out the fear. What do I believe about starting my TikTok, right? Because I was in the spirituality lane. I was really focused on empowering people. I wrote down my really fear at the time was like, what if people don't agree with me? What if people think I'm crazy? What if people don't understand me? And then I started to understand, okay, well, the truth of the situation is the empowerment is regardless of people understanding me or not, because there's always going to be misunderstanding, I still deserve to put my message out. The truth of the situation is whether they judge me or not, I'm still going to want to have this message. I'm still a person that's safe regardless of another person's opinion. And so from there, I literally started saying, okay, my opinion matters most, right? What I think matters most. My message matters more than a negative comment. My understanding of life and other people understanding that matters more than a person who's not available for that. You have to be intentional and genuinely replace. So instead of operating from fear, start operating from a self-empowered place. The second thing, I was sitting in my backyard in high school and a neighbor came out. He was like a conventionally attractive male. I had no idea he lived in the house next to me. And I was in my natural hair. I had no makeup on, right, baddies? Like, I got really anxious. I decided to get up and just go inside. But then I was like, no, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna journal, I'm gonna understand why do I feel these ways? Because why am I worried about what he thinks about me? And I wanted to really get clear on that and stop feeling so anxious. Because I don't believe, right, in changing the world around me to feel better. I believe in shifting my inner beliefs, inner child healing, right, to have a better experience. So I sat with myself, I started journaling. What is it that I'm believing about the situation? What are my beliefs right now? I said, okay, I wanted to get up and leave because I was worried about their perception. And I started to understand, okay, I worry more about other people's comfort over my own. I don't see myself as the main character. I started getting understanding, okay, I genuinely do not feel worthy of presenting myself authentically without judgment because I don't feel attractive or I feel the need to dim myself down for the comfort of others. I prioritize other people over myself. So when I started to get really intentional and like, oh, these are things that I believe. Wow, these are things I actually believe about myself, baddies. I replaced the belief. I literally looked at that belief that said, I prioritize other people's comfort over my own, and I replaced it with, I come first from here on out. I don't think I'm attractive. I'm the most attractive person I know. Flip it out, switch it. And the goal is this: the next time you find yourself getting triggered, triggers are indicators, and we want to reshape our story, you start affirming that new belief instead. I don't feel like I'm going to have money. I never had money before. Is it going to work out? You know what? I always have money. Replace, choose a new beginning. And the more consistent you are, the more your brain will start to believe it and look for more proof of that positive new belief. So be intentional, baddies. Be mindful and start being confident in affirming your worth and your value and your ability to create what you want despite any circumstance, despite any fear, and despite the thoughts in your head, because you are the one who's most in power always. Okay, baddies. So the fourth and the final step when it comes to healing your inner child is reparenting yourself. So your inner child is sitting in the back seat and your current adult self, all right, or how old you are, sitting in the front seat. Your inner child has these fears and these experiences. Your inner child's telling you, drive off the cliff, drive into the water. It's not going to work out. This person doesn't like us. The money's not going to be there, right? And most times we're just listening to our inner child driving off the water, driving into the water, driving off the cliff and whatnot, right? You're right. It's not going to work out. We're freaking out. We're spiraling. But your job, right, as an adult is to reparent yourself. So the next time your inner child's like, it's not going to work out, drive off the cliff, drive into the water, you say, nope, inner child, we're going to go steady down the road, right? Because I am safe regardless. I trust myself no matter the circumstance. I know I'm safe. I know I deserve to have what I want. I believe things are always working out for me. You have to be intentional with believing a new direction and slowing down and being mindful of how you feel, but reminding yourself you are safe regardless, reminding yourself money loves you, reminding yourself you are the one to impress, and so on. So it's about being consistent with your new narrative. You are no longer giving up your power. You are no longer running in fear, but you are reminding yourself and you're having the core strength to be consistent and affirming a new perspective. And baddies, you are worthy of whatever it is you want. You are born with so much worth innately, all right? That worth has not gone anywhere. So the only thing holding you back from your value is your awareness of your value. If you see yourself down here, you'll have these experiences. If you see yourself up here, you'll have these experiences. And the only person who dictates who you are is you. You have to have the confidence to fully step in that role and fully break out of people pleasing and fully break out of trying to impress others and having other people on a pedestal. You do matter most because life happens through you. You are the only person who can truly dictate if you win or if you lose. And anything else that has any power is the power that you chose to give it. So take your power back, baddies. You deserve a life of abundance. You deserve a life of love, and you deserve a life of security, happiness, and trust. All right, baddies, you are so powerful. You are amazing, and you are the best thing that's ever hit this planet. It's time to start acting like it, because once you start believing in better and you start acting like better, Baddie, I promise you, you will start receiving better. And the only person that dictates that is you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's episode of The Baddest You. Make sure you guys check me out, Ambria on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And check out the Baddest You podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And I will see you guys on next week's episode of The Baddest You. Bye, baddies. Mwah.